Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So to start, you guys had control of this, but I still want to know. I love the montage where we see all the different planets kind of changing when the Lego gets removed. But was there a planet that you guys didn't get to go to that you were like, no, I want to see how that specific planet changed when this happened?
There were a lot, actually. I would say that there were too many to fit in. I'm trying to think of one that we wanted to go to that we didn't. I kind of think that we hit. I feel like we hit the big. Oh, no. That's not. I wanted to see Alderaan. I wanted to see Alderaan as it exists and is still intact in this version of the galaxy. That was in the script at a certain point, and as with at a certain point, they said you guys are cut off. It was like getting kicked out of the bar. They're like you've had enough. You're out of control. Get out. We can't have every planet and every character and every ship and every creature. But I did in my mind, in my imagination, Alderaan is intact in this version of the galaxy and remains a beautiful place to visit. So I wish we could have managed to get that in, but that's one that did not make it to the end, unfortunately.
And it would have been ripe for jokes of people being like, oh my God, it just exists.
Yeah,
It's just like,
it felt like the right spirit of it. I think originally the plan was to use it as an example of the ways in which this remixed galaxy was positive. In fact, that there are things, and Luke says this later in the show. He says, there are things about this galaxy that are worse than the ones that we've heard about, but there are things that are better. And that maybe is worth shining a light on and spotlighting. And that was sort of meant to be an example of that. But unfortunately, it didn't quite fit in when all was said and done. But at least we still had Luke sort of articulating that idea, which is nice.
yeah, and I love it. And you guys also get to uh, you know, bring fan theories to life because I love that Darth Jar Jar finally has his day and his time because I'm a millennial. That was our whole thing is that we were like, he's a Sith Lord. When you guys are working on something like this and you have the freedom to have fun with Star Wars characters and get to play with your toys in this way, what for you guys was like the thing that you were like, I want to do this and I don't care if they tell me no, but I'm gonna attempt to do it.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with Darth Jar Jar. Like that was he was definitely at the top of our list when we first started brainstorming like what would be the most fun mashups to do. So I think he's up there. The other one was bringing in Jedi Bob, which is a deep cut for the Lego fans. Like I'm a hardcore Lego nerd, and so I've known and loved Jedi Bob for years and years and years. But it was definitely a moment when we first started brainstorming. That's when like I was like, all right, we want Jedi Bob to be a star of this, and there was definitely more than one person that was like, wait, who? And we didn't know if we'd be able to pull it off, but luckily everyone at Lucasfilm and Lego like understood what we were going for, and we really wanted to celebrate the full history of Lego Star Wars for like the 25th anniversary. So everyone was game to try a lot of the wild ideas we had.
The two that I came into the project with were I knew I wanted an Ewok bounty hunter because it was something that had been a pet idea of mine for decades, literally. Just
Mm.
I always thought it would make sense that if enough material crashed on the forest moon of Endor, that eventually some curious Ewok would figure out how to fly it. And so that was really gratifying to me because it was something that I never thought I'd have the opportunity to do. And the other one was for whatever reason, I wanted an Australian gonk droid. It just seemed obvious to me. It was my one non-negotiable, and thankfully we have Michael Cusack, who's just a great friend and a brilliant performer.
Mm.
And that to me was something that I felt excited about that I couldn't exactly explain in logic to anyone other than it felt emotionally correct. And so I'm really happy that it
Oh,
proved to be good.
and I would say the one other one is we both from the start really wanted to for the kind of the first time ever see nerf herding
Oh, yes.
and what that looks
Yes.
like. And you know, like this is goes back, like Dan and I, we went to college together, and so we've been talking Star Wars for decades now. And you know, like even when we were in college talking about Star Wars, we'd be like, it would be really fun to see a Star Wars about a nerf herder. What is that? What's that life like?
What's going on with those
And
guys?
so when we got this opportunity, we were immediately like, we can tell our nerf herder story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony said that it feels like stories that like when you're drunk with your friends, you're like, I want to see this in Star Wars. And that's what makes it so much fun. Like, thank you for giving I hate C3PO. So bad C3PO made me so happy because I was just like, great, everyone's gonna be on my side for once.
Well, he's a little too evil to you circle back to loving him because it's fun to see that this version of him. And I know that Anthony Daniels was extremely enthusiastic about getting to do this version of 3PO after so many years of kind of the classic 3PO. He was like going for it all the way when we were recording him, and he was just absolutely sensational.
Yeah. Well, and I love it's just so much fun. And I think, with the way Star Wars has been recently, I think a lot of like this is gonna be that fun thing that all of us can just be like, I don't care about what you think about The Last Jedi. I'm talking about this show that has Legos changing the entire fabric of Star Wars. It's fine. But when you have like the freedom to kind of do that and like you're dealing with two different fan bases. You're dealing with the Lego fan base and you're dealing with Star Wars. Do you guys find it a freeing experience of getting to kind of mess with Star Wars in this way? Or are you still very conscious of the fact that you're like, well, now I have two fan bases who are going to be looking at this and like trying to figure it all out?
Well, I think that, look, anytime that you are given the responsibility of shepherding anything that means a lot to other people and yourself, you do feel that pressure. We felt that with Pokemon. We felt that with the Addams Family. We certainly felt that with Ninja Turtles. And maybe never more than with both Lego and Star Wars at the same time. But at the same time, one of the things that we've learned from working on a lot of these big franchises is really drilling down into what feels kind of philosophically or spiritually true and honest about what you love about it. And then finding the points of departure where you go, this may be a little bit different than things that have been done in the past or a little bit unusual, but if we do it with the right heart and the right sensibility, I think people will follow us on this journey. So I think you can't be afraid to take risks because that's when you start to self-censor. And when you start self-censoring at the sort of the generative stage or the creative stage, you end up with something that kind of is in the middle and it isn't risky and it isn't audacious and it isn't surprising. It feels safe and sort of less than it could have been. So I think that you have to, as when you find yourself in these situations, say, we have the runway to take chances. And if we do this with the right spirit, people are going to get on board. And I think they're going to get things that they maybe didn't expect, but are happy to have.
I 100% agree. I love this show. It made me so, so, so happy. I want so many more Star Wars stories that are just like this. I love it a lot. But thank you guys so much for talking with me today.
It's our pleasure.
Are so grateful and we really appreciate you and everything you all do. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Have a great one.
You too.